Welcome, viewing several once again. Right, this one is not part of my hands up series because it's sort of a train set. It's a train set layout, but it's made out of a couple of packs of Tomix track and some cheap wagons that were bought from Plaza Japan, as well as this loco. Now, the point of it is, I was trying to find the smallest layout I could do that would be with a couple of sidings and a run around, a loop that would functionally work. And I can go smaller. There is a smaller radius. You can shave another inch and a half off of the radius here, although that depth is not so much of a problem. It's more this width that is, this way that is the issue. But if I go any smaller than this, you need a little bit of a straight before you go to there and here, and you go any smaller and the radius is, the couplings won't couple up, and I think this is as realistically, I've tried a few configurations and I think this is as small as I can go while it will still work. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you, I've got one magnetic decoupler there. So I think what I'll do is I'll demonstrate that first. So we'll just go into the siding and go on. It's a good runner, but it still does stall on points occasionally. Now we'll pick that up and we'll come out quite quick because otherwise it will. Yeah, you can see these. It works brilliantly to decouple, but the tension lock part of it just doesn't seem to work as well as a traditional tension lock. So I'm just going to get that to couple up better. What happens is these couplings are articulated and they tend to so I'll see if I can get it over this. Sometimes it just goes straight over, and other times you just leaving the things behind. So I think I had more success when it was this way round. So I'm going to try that. So not a great start, but it is a good demonstration of this kind of decoupler system. So we'll go over that a bit faster and then we'll get those out. So I should point out that this decoupler is magnetic, and the only magnetic couplings are the ones on the locomotive. So when you go in there, when you're backing in other wagons, it's not an issue. So anyway, let's come round. We'll run round a couple of laps like this. And then what we'll do is we'll pick up these three wagons from here. We can do that. And off we go there. Well, these are lovely little wagons. I think they only cost me £4 or £5 each from Plaza Japan. The loco was about 30 something quid when it was on offer. They often have a lot of offers on. So, and the track was very cheap as well. So, overall it's way less than 100 quid for all of this. But like I said, I think this is the smallest I can go while it still will function with a bit of shunting, and if as I say, I've got a smaller loop than this. It will go a bit smaller, but you lose a bit of it. Just too small. When you go too small, things don't work properly. The sidings don't work, and it won't couple up. We're just on the cusp now. I think this is the smallest it can go. So I'm going to increase the. That's full tilt, and then we'll slow back down. And then what we'll do for the end of this running, demo running session is to let's stick these 3 box fans back in this siding. And we will use the old tried and trusted method of like that, and then we'll come out and then we'll see if the magnetic decoupler is working. So it works better in this direction, so let's see. You should see that lift up. There we go. And we've got a little bit of gravity assist there. Nothing wrong with that in the sidings. And there we have it. So that works relatively well. And as I say, that's as small as I can get it and still be functional. So I'm thinking of I'm going to measure this up and we'll see what it's like. I've got some board. I can make something up like a box with a lid for it. It's a project for after I finish some of my other ones, but I bought this a while back, and so I'm just trying it out. Now I've got the same locomotive and most of these wagons in Z gauge, so in the next week I'm going to be setting up the same kind of double sidings loop layout and trying it in Z gauge and see if that's viable and compare how much smaller it is. To be honest, you don't seem to gain a lot. It will be smaller, but not as much smaller than you think, because the way the points and the track are on that, you've got to kind of like the length of them seems to add more length than these points, which are really small. The Z gauge points I think might even be longer than these or the same length, and then you've got other issues with running a smaller scale, so you don't actually gain an awful lot. But what's nice about it is I've got this exact loco in this exact livery, and I've got some of these wagons in this colour, and I've got some of these other wagons are almost the same, just in a smaller gauge. So I think what I'll do is I'll measure this up, and then when I do the one in Z gauge I will do a comparison of the measurements. But yeah, I think that's let's have a look. Let's just put that there and we'll just run the loco back this way. I think that's a viable tiny train set style layout, and that is as small as you can go. Now this Tomix track I think is a slightly smaller radius than the Kato, but as I say, the this way radius in this scale doesn't really matter as much. It's more this, and it's more these points and getting the amount of, you know, curve and space you need to fit that in where it will still actually feasibly work. But you can see in that first part this wagon is better, because this is a double bogie wagon with 2 4-wheel bogies, and it goes around this corner. It will couple and uncouple. These little wagons perform less well over this magnetic coupler, and also these tiny points. So, you know, there are still some sacrifices to be made, like this wagon might only have to be used in a certain place in the train or whatever, but and when you get down to Z gauge, the number of compromises does seem to go up, but we'll see. I will show that one later in the week and we'll do a comparison. So anyway, I hope you like that. That's this is all Tomix with their I forget what they call, what do they call this track? It's called something like the fine track it's called. One of them is just one of these packs like that, and then there was the 91080, and then I think this is the one that's the really tiny loop, and then I bought another pack that had some points in it as well, and then I bought these 2 buffer ends separately and this decoupler separately, again from Plaza Japan, all very cheaply. So it's a really good system, and I think if you were building a bigger layout it would be even better, but as you know, I'm limited for space here, and what I really want is to be able to have something like this that I can just get out, open, take the lid off and just play with it. So this is going to be my kind of, you can, I mean, you can run other N gauge on here, but I have tried to run Graham Farish 060s on this, and it does struggle with this radius because on my 060 the middle wheel is flanged, not like the old Hornby where they've got a flangeless middle wheel and you can go around a tight curve. It just gets stuck on this radius, so that's out. But these, I mean, these Japanese trains are designed to go round absolutely tiny radius curves, so you know, they're pretty cool. And the fact that you can buy these wagons for 3-4 quid a pop is absolutely fantastic. So just on that basis alone, I think I can recommend it. So yeah, there we are, and I'll see you in the next one. So we'll come back and we'll do the same layout but in Z gauge with Rokuhan Z, which is the same type of track, and then we'll compare